In today's video, I am going to be breaking down some basic triangle basketball plays. In my earlier coaching career, 15 years ago, I used a lot of triangle offenses. I was known for using the triangle offense, and it was very successful to me. Now, in today's game, I am using more 5-out, so you can make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense down in the description below. But let's get down and let's check out some of these triangle basketball plays, especially if your team has a good forward or guard, plus a good center. So in this first play, I like to try and get a post entry as fast as possible into the high post. This is going to then have player 3 set that back screen on player 1. Let's say his defender is right here. And player 1 is going to then go and cut to that low corner. At this time, we may have the opportunity to pass that ball to player 1. And we are essentially now in a triangle style offense, but in the high post. Now, what I want to see is a back screen on player 3, and player 3 is going to cut to the basket. This may be a good pass to player 3 who could score. Of course, player 3 or player 1 could have scored a 3-point shot as well. But now we are in the triangle offense on the opposite side. We are now in a weak side triangle offense. Player 1 is then going to now dribble up, use player 5 as a screen, and now it's going to be a screen and roll on this side. Very simple. We can get that pass into player 5. Player 1 can attack the middle. He can get a mid-range shot. Or, other than just passing to player 5 who's cutting to the rim, if player 3's defender was to try and help off on this screen and roll, this could be an easy pass down to player 3 blue for that easy open layup. When your team gets a little bit more advanced as well, when this screen and roll is happening on this side, we can also have a weak side back screen for player 4, which gives another option essentially to player 1. Because now with this weak side screen, the whole defense is going to be essentially worried about what's happening over here. They may not be paying attention to player 4, and if that's the case, then we can pass to player 4 for the layup as well. But this would be a more advanced version of the exact same play. We just have more off-ball movement happening. This next one is actually better for a zone, but it can still be ran against a man-to-man. Now, I'm going to be setting up a 2-3 zone just because I want to show you how well it works against a zone. We've actually seen this quite a bit. Many teams run this. A lot of teams will actually run this with a high-low action instead of it being a triangle, but I personally prefer not having two players in the post. Unless you're running horns, it's in the high post. I like having the baseline open to drive, especially if you have size or speed advantages. So what's going to basically happen is the defense is going to be shifted something like this. We're going to have that pass over to player 4. That's going to draw player 4 red up, and we're going to have a cut down into this corner. We've now entered that triangle offense. At this time, we can have that pass back to player 4, and I'm not going to lie, this is at least the first 1, 2, or even 3 or 4 times you run this in a game, this is going to be a wide open 3-point shot. Until they start overplaying it, shadowing until player 4 gets down, then in that case, we will have the low post open if they don't move fast enough with that shadow, and we may have some weak side cuts that are wide open for player 3 in this case. Depends on what's happening. But let's say they're just fast enough, the ball gets down there and they're still in the 2-3 zone. Well, what's going to happen is I like these backdoor or these backside screens. We can get player 4 potentially the ball. That's going to collapse the defense. We can then kick it out to these guys. If player 4 gets that ball, it's going to collapse a lot of guys. But that's not our number one option. We want player 2 to fight through so that player 5 pops out. This gives us the option to be able to pass out. Player 1 has the option for 4 or 5. I would say player 5 would be our number one option. Once this pass goes out to player 5, we want him to dribble up top if we haven't scored yet. And now this is when our main scoring will happen. So now we're going to have player 4 going into that low post. Player 1 is going to be lifting up. We're going to swing the ball as fast as we can, and player 2 is going to be going to this low post. While the defense is shifting, you're going to notice that there's a lot of opportunities for player 3 to pass to player 2, potentially shoot the ball himself, or pass to player 4 for a layup. Anytime you pass this imaginary middle line, it makes you super successful on scoring, and this one time getting it from that corner all the way to this other corner is going to be ridiculously successful for you. Now, I've personally had a lot of success with this next play. We're going to have player 5 start with the ball. He is our center. He is our big man. He's going to pass the ball over to player 1, and player 4 is going to set a back screen for player 5, and he's going to go into the low post. While that's happening, we're going to have a pass to player 3, and player 1 is going to cut to that corner. Player 1 and 5 should hit those spots at pretty much the exact same time. The reason why this is so super successful is because this first cut is a blind pig, essentially. We're now in triangle offense, and we're hoping that player 3 can pass to 1 or 5 and score right away. If we can't score on that initial set, or action I should say, what I want to see is now player 3 calling for the screen from player 5 and attacking that high post. We're going to have player 2 set the screen on player 4, and player 4 is going to be attacking on this, or cutting on the weak side. What we're trying to accomplish here on this cut or this drive, and potentially even player 1 cutting off ball baseline, is now player 3 could obviously score, but he has the opportunity to pass to player 1 or the opportunity to pass to player 4. If you want a deadly defense, make sure to go check out my Unbeatable Basketball Zone Defense book, but also make sure to go check out my complete guide to the 5-out offense. That is down in the description below. I don't have any books on the triangle offense. I am currently building those books and those playbooks. But anyways, I hope that this video has helped you win more games. If it has, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you guys again next video, and make sure to go check out those books that I mentioned down in the description below.